Well, we know. No, it's not here. I'm just sharing for about half an hour, and then
Who's sharing?
I'm sharing. Yeah. Yes. I can ask you if you want, because
Half an hour or 40 minutes,
40 minutes, 45. That's okay. Yeah, no problem. I keep a close eye on the clock.
I'll put my phone on there if you want. Put my phone on there if you want.
Well, there's a clock over there.
Can you see that far?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. This is super. This is the phone on somewhere. I'll be back.
I'll be back. I heard that before.
I'll be back.
I will be here.
What we don't do is good. And it's supposed to start 1 o'clock.
I speed up.
How long do you want to talk? What's that? Oh yeah,
Sorry.
is there entry angles out there or what? Have you got one in English?
All the other ones are English, but this one's Dutch.
Yep.
12 traditions of Cocaine Anonymous. Bingo. Wait. Yes.
I'm making you wait. No.
Welcome to this speaker meeting of Cocaine Anonymous. My name's Ian, and I'm an addict.
Ian.
Are there any other addicts in the room today?
Yes.
Thank you. But first, a couple of housekeeping announcements. This is a non-smoking event. Smoking is permitted outside the hotel or in designated smoking areas only. Would you please turn off your mobiles? There may be some here who are not familiar with our tradition of personal anonymity at the public level. Anonymity is one of the most important issues in the structure of Cocaine Anonymous. Traditionally, CA members have always taken care to preserve their anonymity at the public level. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, television and films. We respectfully request that those gathered here honour this tradition of anonymity. In keeping with our traditions, we request that no photographic or video recording of the convention be distributed, published or downloaded in any general forum, including the internet and/or any other electronic communications network. We specifically request that members refrain from posting any convention photos or videos on any social networking site that may identify any activity, entity or person as being associated with Cocaine Anonymous. If you should happen to recognize someone here who identifies themselves as an addict, please keep that knowledge strictly to yourself. Cocaine Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others recover from their addiction. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using cocaine and all other mind-altering substances. There are no dues or fees for membership. We are fully self-supporting through our own contributions. We are not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization or institution. We do not wish to engage in any controversy, and we neither endorse nor oppose any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay free from cocaine and all other mind-altering substances, and to help others achieve the same freedom. This convention is made possible not only from your registration fees, but also through the generosity of voluntary contributions. We will pass the buckets, an amateur or two, in keeping with our 7th tradition. Our new friends need not feel obligated to contribute. Please remain quiet while the baskets are being passed. Oh yeah, jawel. Okay, while the buckets are going around, I've asked someone out there to read who is a CA member. If you'd like to come up here and use the mic. I don't know, see you. Yeah, who is a CA member? No? Anybody got that?
I've got it. Who's willing to read it?
Right, who wants to read this? Come on, step on, be part of it. Right, we're gonna choose a volunteer, are we?
My name is Jan, I'm an addict. Who is a CA member? While the name Cocaine Anonymous may sound drug specific, we wish to assure you that our program is not. Many of our members did a lot of cocaine, others only used a little, and some never even tried cocaine. We have members who drank only on occasion, those who casually refer to themselves as drunks, and others who are full-blown alcoholics. Lots of us used a wide variety of mind-altering substances. Whether we focused on a specific substance or used whatever we could get our hands on, we had one thing in common. Eventually, we all reached a point where we could not stop. According to CA's 3rd tradition, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using cocaine and all other mind-altering substances. Whatever you may have been using, if it led you to this meeting, you're probably in the right place. Over time, virtually every single one of us has realized that our real problem is not cocaine or any specific drug. It is the disease of addiction. It can be tempting to focus on our differences rather than our similarities, but this can blind us to potential sources of support in our recovery. As we hear other members' stories, the most important question to ask ourselves is not, would I have partied with these people, but rather, do these people have a solution that can help me stay sober? We encourage you to stick around and listen with an open mind. With its all-inclusive third tradition and first step, Cocaine Anonymous welcomes anyone with a drug or alcohol problem and offers a solution. CA's 12 steps are not drug-specific, and Cocaine Anonymous is not a drug-specific fellowship. It doesn't matter to us if you drank or what type of drugs you used. If you have a desire to stop, you are welcome here.
Thank you.
It can be tempting to focus on our differences rather than our similarities, but this can blind us to potential sources of recovery. But this can blind us to potential sources of support in our recovery. As we hear other members' stories, the most important question to ask ourselves is not, would I have partied with these people, but rather, do these people have a solution that can help me stay sober? We encourage you to stick around and listen with an open mind. It is a custom in Cocaine Anonymous to read, "We can recover." Yeah, okay.
Hi, man. My name is Hein, and I'm an addict. Welcome to Cocaine Anonymous. We are all here for the same reason: our inability to stop using cocaine and all other mind-altering substances. The first step forward is admitting that there is a problem. The problem, as we see it, consists of an obsession of the mind and an allergy of the body. The obsession is a continued and irresistible thought of cocaine and the next high. The allergy creates an absolute inability to stop using once we begin. We wish to assure you that there is a solution and that recovery is possible. It begins with abstinence and continues with practicing the 12 steps of recovery one day at a time. Our program, the 12 Steps of Cocaine Anonymous, is the means by which we move from the problem of drug addiction to the solution of recovery. 1. We admitted we were powerless over cocaine and all other mind-altering substances, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the results of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Cocaine Anonymous is a spiritual program, not a religious one. In CA, we believe each individual can choose a higher power of his or her own understanding. In short, a God of his or her own. No one comes into cocaine to find God. We came into these rooms to get rid of a terrifying drug habit. Look around in this room. You are surrounded by people who came as a last resort. We came into these rooms emotionally, financially, and spiritually bankrupt. We have experienced all sorts of tragedies as a result of cocaine, drugs, and/or alcohol. We have lived many of the same horrors you have, yet today we are free from the misery, terror, and pain of addiction. Maybe some of us were worse off than you, and maybe some of us didn't hit as low as bottom as you. Still, the fact remains that those of us who are recovering have come to believe that a higher power of our own understanding can restore us to sanity. There is a solution. We can recover from addiction one day at a time. It is possible to live a life filled with hope, faith, and courage.
Thank you.
This afternoon, we are most fortunate to have Jeroen from Amsterdam, here in the Netherlands, as our speaker. Please join me in welcoming Jeroen.
Okay, well, my name is Jeroen and I'm an addict. A couple of minutes ago, my heartbeat went down and now it went up again. It's about 180. And I asked myself, why did I say yes when they asked me to share something with you? I've got a lot to tell you about my recovery, what it was like and what happened and what it's like now. And I thank my life to the fellowship of CA. Let me first tell you a little bit about my history. And I do not want to spend too much time on that because we all know what it was like. I started drinking and smoking cannabis first class secondary school when I was 12 and immediately fell in love with it. It worked for me. It gave me peace of mind, I thought. So rapidly I did it on a daily basis. And after that it progressed. I was about 14 or 15 when I was kicked out of class drunk for the first time. And I still thought that it worked for me because I like to dance. And when I danced and drank something, I thought I can do this. After secondary school, it rapidly progressed in other drugs, speed, and then cocaine came along. And again, I felt like coming home. It worked for me in the beginning, but as you all know, you take a drug, then the drugs takes more drugs, and then the drugs take over. Well, that was what happened with me, and I assume with all of you. That's why the reason you are here. I went on for about 30 years, and in the beginning I didn't see any problem because I worked, I was married, I still have a beautiful daughter, and I had a car in front of the house, and I lived in my own house, so there was no problem. And for years and years, my career was growing, and with a higher income, also the expenses for drugs went up. So I married in 1997, October 21st. I remember a lot of dates. I'm obsessed with numbers, so you will hear a lot of numbers coming along. I married October 21st, 1997, and my girlfriend, and then, of course, she was my wife, she said a couple of times, aren't you using too much? Because then I used already a lot of cocaine. And I remember my wedding night, no, not my wedding night, how you call that, the night before you get married, my bachelor's night or whatever. I went out with friends and I came home about 7 o'clock, and we had to be not in the church because I didn't marry in church, but in City Hall at 9 o'clock, and I was completely wasted. And from that we went to the Hortus Botanicus in Amsterdam. and with some friends of mine, and I used some more. And then we went to Schiphol Airport to go on my honeymoon. And on my honeymoon, I already lost my wedding ring. And to be honest, I cannot remember a lot of my honeymoon. I know I was in Prague, but that's about it. But my wife loved me very much, so she stayed with me for another 12 years. And then my problem, became severe. I started losing things. I lost my work. Finally, my wife divorced me. I still have my old car. It's 24 years now, so I still have that, but that's about it. I lost my house. After the divorce, we sold the house. And in those days, houses in Amsterdam, they were really expensive. So I had some money on my bank. And that was August 1st, 2009. And on my birthday, November 9th, same year, all the money was gone. And I promised myself I start a new life now. Now I have the financial means. I can buy a new car, start a business, and start a new life without my wife, because then she was very nagging to me, always complaining about my drug use. Well, anyway, August 3rd, 2009, I met somebody, and she wanted to rescue me. So she looked up on the internet about what can you do for cocaine addicts. And to be honest, I never checked the internet, what I can do about my problem. I was only on the internet for other reasons. Some males here maybe recognize. And I did it for nights and nights and nights. You know, it was really horrific in the end, because I wasn't enjoying myself, but I had to do it. Well, this beautiful female, she looked up on the internet and found out about a CA meeting for cocaine addicts. And she went there, and she wasn't, she couldn't say anything, but somebody there saw that she was going through a difficult time with me, obvious, because I was a real pain in the ass in those days. And he gave her his telephone number, and that was right after my birthday. She gave this telephone number to me. She said, call this guy, because he knows what you are going through. And you know, the funny thing is, I never thought there were people like me. Now I see a room full of people like me, but in those days I really thought I was alone. Every morning when I woke up, I looked in the mirror after my divorce and really hating myself, looking terrible, weighing only 55 kilos, and I only wanted to die. And I thought, is there nobody in the world who can understand what I'm going through, because I'm going insane. You know, I do not want to do this anymore. Every day I promise myself, today it will be different. But within half an hour, I called my dealer. My daughter in those days didn't want to see me anymore. My ex-wife told me that we had this agreement that every 2 weeks my daughter was with me for 5 days. And the night my daughter had to go to me, she was crying in her bed because she didn't want to come anymore. You know, I was the kind of father who locked himself up in the toilet or the bathroom with my laptop, for obvious reasons, and my crack pipe. And when my daughter knocked on the door at 6 o'clock and asked for dinner, I said, yeah, I come in a minute. And then she knocked the door at 6:30 again, and 7 o'clock. And about 8 o'clock, I smashed the door open, angrily, made her 2 sandwiches, and went back to the bathroom. That kind of father I was in those days. That's what my addiction did with me. And I knew this couldn't go on, so I tried to commit suicide. Remember waking up in hospital very angry that I was still alive, realizing that my GP wouldn't give me any pills anymore, so I couldn't OD on pills anymore. And I had to get on with this shit life. Well, as I told you, I had this girlfriend, and I went to my first meeting November 16, 2009. I will never forget that. And in that meeting, I thought, wow, this is great. Now I have a solution. there was somebody in that meeting who had a clinic in Amsterdam, and he offered me to spend the night in the clinic. Then I would be safe, he told me. And I thought, well, I can stay safe now because I see people who are doing well. And I left the meeting and immediately went to my dealer because I had a solution and now I can use safe. That's what I thought. Really insane, of course. It didn't work that way. But the guy I had a discussion with, he became my sponsor immediately. And he had been to a rehab in Scotland. And I heard good stories about that. So I decided, you know what, I cannot do this on my own. I started to believe that I couldn't deal with my problems on my own and I really needed help. So I went to rehab. And I went to rehab on February 9th, 2010. And I stayed there for almost half a year. And then I started working the steps and I thought, oh, this is easy because I'm not really dumb and I can do this. So, I stayed there for half a year and they said, well, you better go to a living sober house when you come back. So I did. My ex-wife, my girlfriend and my daughter, they picked me up from Schiphol airport and brought me to this safe house. And I didn't like the guy who in the safe house. I wasn't allowed to go to a restaurant with my wife and my daughter, my ex-wife, my daughter and my girlfriend. And he said, well, but you're in the safe house now, so better say goodbye. I said, yeah, I say goodbye to you and I go home. That was not a really smart decision because within 6 days I was on the crack pipe back again and the same old shit was back in my life. Luckily, there are some beautiful people in this world. And one of the counselors from this rehab, he said, well, is it not a good idea to go back to Scotland? I said, oh, shit. Well, at first, I didn't want to go, of course, because I still thought I knew better. I still thought I'm smart. I can handle this, but I really couldn't. So I went back to Scotland, January 6th, 2011. And I stayed there until July 12th, another half year in beautiful Scotland. And then I started to understand what the steps are all about. Working the steps is not something you do because you're smart. Working the steps is because you want a life. You want a normal life. You want to enjoy life. And I realized I never enjoyed my life. Once I began with putting chemicals inside my body, I thought I was doing well, but I never really felt how I was doing. And by working the steps, I became aware of who I am because I didn't have a clue. In the beginning, I thought I was the smartest, best looking guy in the world. Well, believe me, in my addiction, I wasn't looking that good. Now I'm also still not looking good, but okay, I accepted that. But by working the steps, I really felt there is a solution. There is a solution for insane people like me. I was still working with the same sponsor, and he was really hardcore, and that's, I think, what I needed at that moment. I think in recovery, you always will get what you need at that moment. And I switched sponsors after a while and worked through all the steps. And then slowly, my life became better. I felt I realized that there was peace of mind. I started waking up in the mornings, not feeling terrible about myself, not hating myself anymore. I do not want to say I really love myself because, you know, that's not true also, but my life became better. And then the beauty of this program began. I received more and more gifts of recovery. I was 46 when I found a job. I never thought I would find a job anymore. And my job nowadays is the best I can have. I go to my work every day whistling, and still whistling when I go home. I never had that when I was in active addiction. I hated my job. I only needed the money for using. So that's a gift. I'm studying at the moment. After secondary school, I never finished anything anymore. I dropped out university and all the other things I tried to start. I'm studying. How is that possible? I always liked politics, and I'm politically active now in the eastern part of Amsterdam. For me, that's also a gift, that the party of which I'm a member of, they ask me back because they know my story and they trusted me again. A lot of people trust me nowadays. It's unbelievable. People trust me. You can even leave your wallet with me now. I mean, yeah. My ex-wife, she took her wallet with her when she went to bed. I was sleeping in the living room. I wasn't allowed to sleep in the same bed anymore at the end of our marriage. And she took her wallet with her because she knew that the money will disappear. My daughter, she hides her saving piggy in her room every day in a different spot. And every day she asked, did somebody lend some money from me? And then I angrily said, yeah, you will get it back. But she never got it back. So things have changed. I put money in the saving account of my daughter now. I can do that. I have money. Not a lot, but I'm very rich, you know. I have enough. And that's what recovery brought me. How many other gifts did I receive in the last years? It's unbelievable. I'm now clean and sober, and for 4 years and 5 months, 3 weeks and 2 days, and yeah, and still counting. You know, it's just for today. But today I don't have any urge to use again. Today my life is better than it has ever been before. And some things they take more time. The bond with my daughter, for example. My daughter is 18 years old. She graduated from secondary school. We picked up her diploma with my ex-wife and the new boyfriend of my ex-wife. And after that, I went to Scotland with my daughter for 5 days. Last week, we were in Scotland for 5 days. And for the first time in my life, there was not a moment of irritation with my daughter. My daughter was always annoying to me. I was always putting her in her bed as soon as possible because then I could do what I wanted to do. And now we spent 5 days together and we had a terrific time. Unbelievable. And, you know, the funny thing is I have this thing with numbers. And it was not really planned because my daughter is going to Peru and to Croatia. And so she could only go with me last week. And but everywhere I go, I'm going to meetings nowadays, whether it's Mallorca, Istanbul, or also in Scotland, of course. So I was sitting in this meeting, July 12th, in the place I always went to when I was in rehab, and Palmerston Place in Edinburgh. And I realized July 12th, it's exactly 5 years ago when I left rehab for the second time. And for me, that's a sign of my higher power. And I became emotional, I have to say, because in 5 years my life has changed so much. It's I can barely. I'm trying to give you some insight information on that, but it's unbelievable. I always realize at this very moment that my heartbeat is going down again, for which I'm really grateful. And now, I'm not sure what I want to tell you, but well, that's part of the deal. let me see. The most important thing this year for me is that the woman who rescued me, she was, so to speak, my girlfriend. She put me on the right track, and we're still living in the same house, but we do not have a relationship. And for years, I thought the only thing that is missing in my life is a nice woman. And but I tend to listen to suggestions. So I didn't took a plant inside the house. I have plants on my balcony, and they still are alive. I don't have a dog or a pet, but I have a daughter, and she's alive still. So I thought, when will this beautiful woman come along? And I have to say, I tried it on the dating sites. Oh my God. I don't know any of you did, but that's a waste of time. Drank a lot of coffee, went out a lot, but gee. Okay, so I gave up on that. But I like to dance, so I dance a lot. I dance 6 hours tango every week. With I'm an addict. I told you, with 6 different women, and that's not too much anymore, because I used to do 11 hours a week with 9 different women. So I'm working on this recovery. But the woman wasn't coming along at the tango. So, but in the neighborhood I'm living in, there's this dance evening for people above and also under 40 years old, once a month. So I went there and I saw this woman dancing. I thought, oh, she's it. But, you know, I'm a bit shy. So I could barely look at her. And this is only once a month. So when the evening was over, the only thing I could ask was, are you coming again next month? And she said yes. So I was again there next month, but she was together with a man. That was a bit of a disappointment. But, you know, I thought the feeling is okay, so we'll see. I trust my higher power on this, because I really trust my higher power. I do prayer and meditation on a daily basis, because I cannot do this alone. So the 3rd month, she was there again, and I asked her name. And the 4th month, I was there again, and still trusting that if this is meant to be, it is meant to be, because that's what the program is telling me. So the 5th month, I thought, you know what? I go to this man and ask how long they have a relationship. So I went to him and I said, how long are you in a relationship? And he said, well, we're not in a relationship, she's my colleague. Yes! So then I asked, do you want to go out with me? And since then, every week we go dancing, because we both like to dance. You get what you deserve, if you work for it. And after 4.5 years in recovery, I found somebody I'm not going to say I want to spend the rest of my life with, because I don't know, it's just for today, but the feeling is there. And for me, that's one of the greatest gifts in recovery. I cannot control things. If I'm planning things, they will go wrong, because that's what I did my whole life. I trust the program, I trust my higher power, and all I have to do is the footwork. And yeah, I'm one of the luckiest and happiest guys in the world. And I owe this all to the fellowship. I have a good relationship with my daughter. I have a good relationship with my ex-wife. It's unbelievable. She still wants to see me, and I have a good relationship with this girlfriend. We're living together. Living together. We're sharing a house, and I have the most fantastic girlfriend. I don't know what because sometimes in my prayer I ask for things. I ask my higher power, God, if this nice woman is meant to be, well, help me a hand, please. And he did. So every day now when I wake up and I'm doing my prayer and meditation, I feel this joy. And I'm so happy with this prayer and meditation, because if I don't do that, I will this restlessness in my head. I always compare it with the Central Station in Amsterdam. All this thought, all these trains passing along, you know, that's what's happening in my head. And when I do my prayer and meditation, I feel at ease. I feel at ease in my own body. I feel at ease with who I am. I feel at ease with the world, because the world is still the same place. It's not a better place because I'm clean and sober, but I experience it as a better place. I'm not focusing on the negative anymore. I see a lot of love in this world. And yeah, what can I say? Miracles do happen. But you have to work for it. That's true. Work the steps. Find a sponsor. Do the step work. Don't forget your prayer and meditation. I still go to meetings. I'm doing service for the fellowship. And all those gifts. I'm 49 years old now. This was... When I was in active addiction, I fantasized a lot. I fantasized later, when I'm grown up, I will change my life. I will stop and I will become this or that. That's what I did until I was 43. And then I was already 43. And now I'm 49. And I have everything I need. It's unbelievable. And I think with that, when I look at the clock, I did my best. It's 1:45. I don't have my reading glasses on, but maybe the guy upstairs can check the clock for me. Is it 1:45? 10:04. Well, then I want to leave it with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeroen. Excellent. Nice one, buddy. Right, I'd like to... someone out there's got reaching out, I think, if you would like to come up and read that.
Hi, my name is Dirk and I'm an addict. Reaching out. I made it into this program because someone else worked the 12 steps on me. Someone passed it on to me. Someone was out there. They got clean and sober, caring about others. I need to never ever forget that. Had to simply gone on with their lives and forget about people like me, who they're still out there using and suffering, I wouldn't be here today. My gratitude begins with that fact. It's with that gratitude in mind that I reach out to others, especially the newcomers. I need to have them in my life. They are my spirituality begins. For my spirituality comes from caring about others. I have found that the more I focus on improving the quality of the lives I feel of others, the less I'm into myself and my will. I feel freedom and peace from within. The gift I am being to receive in my life is greater than I could have ever imagined. Something else I have done is that I forgive myself. I have forgiven myself for being an addict. I have forgiven myself for all the damage I did in my life and my physical health and to my career and finance. But most of all, I have forgiven myself for all the horrible, negative and involving things I have felt about myself. I was not until I offered and accept my own forgiveness that I was truly able to grow in my sobriety.
Right, someone out there's got the promises, I think. I hope. Yeah, there we go.
My name is Nick and I'm an addict. If we are pranking about the space of our development, we will be amazed before we halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will compare the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see our experience can benefit others. That feeling of unlessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and anonymity, insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these precise promises? We think not. There are being felt among us, something quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work them.
Right, if we could have a moment of silence for the addict who still suffers. Thank you. Now we can either form a circle, because Jeroen is going to lead us out with the Serenity Prayer.
Are we all one? Remember, you don't need to do this alone anymore. Who's in charge?
God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. See on my back, words, the words, the words, the words.
Yeah, but you're constantly.
I was looking at that and see, look, and it's got.
We're CA member,
Yeah.
traditions.
Yeah.
We can recover.
Yeah. But yeah, look, and then what? Oh, do you know where Amsterdam? And then after Elke share was. Elke's
Elke is coming afterwards. But this is not in the format, so just keep it out of the format. I don't know.
But hold on, it has been before, hasn't it? That's why I handed it out, because it's in the others.
It has to be.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But it's not.
This is for the recognition of the newcomers.
Yeah, this wasn't. Yeah, yeah. Right, when I, wrong format. Yeah, hold on. When I turn, no, well, see, look, when I was in there having a coffee, right? And what's his name? The chubby guy. He came and said, "Can you go chair that meeting quick because there's a screw up with the timetable." I said, "Yeah." So I turned up, but if you look here, look, all we've got here is pass the bucket. Look, we've got pass the buckets. Who is a CA member? Who is a CA member? We can recover 12 traditions. Reaching out, the promises, that's it. And I was wondering what's happened to this, but, you know, where would I slot it in now? This is the format. See, look, and it is for Jeroen.
There are the 12 editions.
Yeah, 12 things you have, but we were missing this one.
Well, this one we're missing.
No. Well,
Can I be the chair for Elke?
no, I'm going to the interaction with 2:30. Go to the guys over there. Wat? Ja, op dit moment, Pascal. Ja, Pascal is the one
Ja, mooi. Ja, dat wordt wel weer.
Hey, het is nog voor de...
Ja.
For Elke.
Yeah.
Right, come here, look, this is missing. Good?
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to put it in. Early. Right, that. Right, did it. Yeah, member.
Yeah.
After. What?
Okay.